I think we're live. We are getting confirmation from Zach and Coots, Matt, Ben Coombe, Vimps, Retro Puffer, Zach H. Sounds good, Zach. I believe you. Deanna's in the frozen tundra. We were unusually warm today, almost 60 degrees. What's up, Ben? Richard. Vimps, if I didn't say Vimps already. Matt Speaker. What's up, dude? And who else we got here? Vanilla Slice. We got Justin, Yeti Motzi, Kevin, John Doe, Music Sound Gear, Strat CPO, all the regulars. Dennis. Johnny Rock says it sounds great. I believe him. I have no reason to doubt him. He's been, if anything, honest. We got Papa Blue, we got Vince, we got BC Rich, Ed Axman, got Pasquale, Funny Ass Guitar Guy, Thunder Falcon, Joshua, Timothy, Rico B, and of course Daryl, and Christopher, and Dennis, WJ Cooper. Yeah, no, it sucks with the basement. You're right. No, it sucks when the basement floods. You are correct. Fucking blows. What's up, Kevin? R2, R3 Locknut. There you are. Got Michael and Steve and Joshua. Fretless Ed, Surf B. Yeah, right, Surf B? We're like crazy warm today. We got Herb at Fireside Studio. All your Les Paul songs. All the, when you think of Les Paul, got Brooks, Jay Schaff, Mike is himself, Craig C, Mark Cote, and the rest are here. Of course, Patrick, Super Lead 100. Rainy Prince Edward Island, welcome. Yeah, we had the rain. I was up super early this morning because of the rain. But we'll get to all that. No Vola tonight, they're right there. Calm down, they're very close. They're always at an arm's length. Just in case I need it, you know. I've actually sort of rediscovered the black one with the two humbuckers. I really like the pickups in that one. And I just like the sound of it. You know, this is sounding pretty good too. And it's a new patch. Yeah, that's right. You're soaking in it. I have a new patch. I stumbled upon it, you know. Sometimes you just stumble around. You know, just looking for a quick fix. I just need a new tone, bro. What do you got? And this has got this weird delay. That's a little extra heavy out of one air. Oh, it's quick. Somebody get him a tissue. It was like the most emotional ever. It was like wicked, wicked emotional. Yeah, the LP does sound great. I agree, Pasquale. I haven't played this guitar in a while. You know, it's one of those things where it's like up on a shelf. It's in a case. You know, and it's just, you don't play those ones as much as the ones that are just out on the stands or up on a hanger, you know. What's up, Natick? Yeah, like all great patches, it's based on a Marshall, right? I think it's not even that. Let me look at it again. Brit. Marshall is a registered trademark of Marshall Ltd. So, you know, they're just covering their ass. It's a Brit. 2204, I have no idea what that is. But the gain is only about halfway up. And it does have an SD1 in the front of it. Can I move this? This thing's always a pain in the ass to move. Why I oughta. Yeah, it doesn't like to play nice with that. I have to get it in this other window to send it to you. I did it for you. I did it for you, Damien. I did it for you. Like jumps off a ledge. Yeah, see that? Does get your SD1? You got your Brit. It's in there somewhere. And then you just, I have the chorus off. Want to turn it on? Not really. Turn there you go. It's a bit much. It's a, you know, never go full 80s. Okay, so we have an answer. The NYC Geology says the 2204. This is, I'm assuming, how he sounds. The 2204 is an iteration of JCM 800. Oh, there you go. Now you gotta go turn this down, go here, turn that up. No, here. Here? No, here. There. Something like that. Oh, yeah, there you go. You got to pull out all your Gibson tunes, you know. Oh, we're gonna get I think the VH riff is Black and Blue. What was that on? Was that on 5150 or was that on OU812? Zebra Pup's looking sweet on the tuxedo. Yeah, you know, it's a look. You know, never forgetting the guitar. And I agree with RJ. I said the guitar is 90% fashion accessory, 10% tone. He thinks it's more like 99 point infinite nines fashion accessory. I'm like, you know, you might have a point. That's where that came from, right? I saw him in 81 on the For Those About to Rock tour. And, you know, he does a big thing. And at one point, you know, it's like, as he tippy-toes around the stage. And the, you know, of course, audience, oh, we love you, take off, mommy. And I think that's where he got the whole thunder, you know, thunderstruck riff from. He was just fooling around with that. Something he had done as a part of his, just when he's doing his solo, right? It's just him out on the stage. Before he's down on the ground, like Curly, whoop, 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 whoop. You know? What we need is a gimmick. You know, the songs are pretty strong. Do you need a gimmick, though? Do you? Have you ever heard anyone noodle demo at NAMM? I'm going to NAMM in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to that. Calling right now, 45 degrees and rain here. That was especially stunning. Yeah, a couple of times. I'm trying to think. There was a jazz flautist the first year I went that was friggin' incredible. I think he goes by the name Sharp Eye. He was like on another level. He was really good. You know, because when you're a single line player like that, you spend a lot of your time thinking about single lines. And he would like run through the tune, like the friggin' chords in the tune, like a friggin' maestro. In fact, pretty much all the other players, you know, and it's like an open jazz jam, all the other players recognize, all right, this is the guy. This is, we're all just, you know, kiddies at the adult table. He's the only one that's really amazing. I saw Nick Johnson do a really good set. Sounded really good. Amazing playing. And what's his name there? The guy who was with oh my God, I can't believe I can't think of his name. He was with Edgar Winter. Who's the guy who plays for Edgar Winter? Been playing with Edgar Winter for years now. And they're not Rick Derringer. Steve Lukather was supposed to play at one of the events I went to, but he had to bag out because the Grammys were going to have Ringo play. And so he's Ringo's guitar player. So he was like, Steve got called up. He got called up to service for the Grammys. No, not Ronnie Montrose. The guy who's been like the last maybe 10 years or so. It is on the tip of my tongue. New York guy, right? What's up, Vanilla Slice? That's way out. I want to say there's an R in his name. Oh, we're going to get this. Was it Geez, I can't think of it. I saw Blue Oyster Cult, you know, the main members, with Michael Anthony on bass and vocals. Play what I could consider a pretty damn good set. I was like, oh my God, these guys sound friggin' amazing. You know, and you could hear Michael Anthony singing in the back. Doug Rappaport. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Metal Theater. Thank you, Michael. Who had it first? Michael had it first. Doug Rappaport. Yeah, Doug Rappaport was scary good. He was really good. You know, the guys that make it look easy. That's what Nick Johnson does. Nick Johnson makes it look like, you know, there's nothing to it. And that's a sign of a, you know, it's like he's toying with you. Rappaport is way good. Rappaport, yeah, no, he was in. Well, I'm gonna put this with like underscore impressive. he was impressive. He was really good. What is it? Laurie? Is it Basile? I saw her play a little bit. It was very crowded, so I didn't stick around. But she sounded amazing. She was really good. And, you know, it's pressure to stand up on a stage with you know, a bunch of people at NAMM standing around and staring at you as you're going through your stuff. That's a nerve-wracking situation. But Laurie, Laurie Basil, is it Basilio? Is that how you say? Again, I'm terrible. I'm awful with names, but she's got an Ibanez Sig model, right? The purple Sig. I didn't get a ton of her playing, but she was really good. She was really good. I'm trying to think of who else I've seen there. You know who was two shows that were just so pleasant. I cannot just tell you how just it like Pleasantville. Like just so. One was Graham Nash, you know, doing Our House and, you know, Just a Song Before I Go, and, you know, he was so relaxing, and like the crowd wasn't a huge crowd. It was out on the pavilion. And so it was like sort of echoing, down that big long way. And he just himself and another guy doing, 2 vocals and 2 guitars. And they just sounded so good. It was just such a wonderful, chill. That was a really good show. And the other one that I'll always remember is Ronnie Spector. Ronnie Spector played. I didn't watch it. I was waiting for some friends who were going to be a good 40 minutes or whatever. I knew they were going to be a while because they were wrapping their booth up, and I just got out of there. I said, they don't want me hanging in there. So I said, I'll go out front. I'll hang out front. And they were going to do something. They were going to meet us back there. So I said, listen, I'm just going to hang here. Just text me. I'll go meet you wherever you're going to go. And I just sat out in the, there's a big, long, walk up to the NAMM building as seen in the Star Trek Picard series. Hard to take it seriously when you've been there. Is that, the Academy? Anyway, sitting out there, and again, she's down a ways at the stage. So she's not very far away, but she's far, I'm on the other side of a football field. And of course the building is right there, so it's going and hitting the building, and I'm sitting on the bench after this long runway, and the building has a big opening in front, and I'm just on this bench out front facing the building, waiting on texting people, looking at my phone, and Ronnie Spector is playing in the background. And tune after tune, I was like, oh right, that's Ronnie Spector. Right? It's like one of those things. And she even did her Christmas tune. She's like, I know Christmas is over, but I'm still going to do my Christmas song, right? Because it was late January. And, oh my God, she was amazing. She sounded so good. So that was 2 other performances that I thought were really good. Guitar performances, Doug Rappaport, Nick Johnson, Laurie. I would say that just performances, Graham Nash and Ronnie Spector were 2 of the most pleasurable. Just sitting out there, listening to them going, they still sound pretty damn good. Is my mic doing stuff? It could be. My mic has been very temperamental, and the lacquer finish likes to grip onto the cable. Did you perform once at NAMM, Ben? Yeah. I don't even like to play at NAMM. Don't get me started on Star Trek, I know. Everyone has their years, and then once you get outside of those, you're like, then it was stupid, then it got good, then it got stupid again, right? And it's the era that you like. Although, a lot of those old tech shows, they don't hold up all that well. It depends. Some do. The ones that are, some of the storylines are very well written. It depends on the episode. Who was it? Jerry Taylor? Who became the head writer? She was really good. What year classic is this? This is a 2017? I'm sorry. It's a 2022? 2020, no. It's 2020. Right? Because it's the number, and then you skip 3, and then it's the next one. So it's 2, and then, yeah, it's a 2020. 2020. Yeah, very thin neck, even compared to the SG. Yeah, you're right, Ron. It is a 2020. Yeah, 1 and 4, exactly. So it's a 2020. What does it weight? It weighs almost 10 pounds. I think it's 9.9 something. Because I don't think this is weight relieved. Really glad you have that guitar. So that makes 2 of us. You know, you missed out on a lot of them, but the Mod Shop is doing 20% off right now. That's a substantial discount. I'm just saying. They have a Les Paul up there that's plum. I can feel it. I can feel it in my plums. All right, bonus points for people who know that reference. And who says it. I can feel it in my plums. Oh, hold on. Yeah, right there. Give us a Mod Shop. It's a Mod Shop. There we go. You're a Mod Shop. I got a few. Pricey though, if you want the SG, because that's a VOS. But it would be 20% off, so that would be what, $1,000 off. Instead of $49.99, it'd be $39.99. I mean, I'm no mathematician, but once the last time I checked, when something's $5,000 and you take 20% off, it becomes $4,000. There you go, $41.99. Take 20% off. That'd be another $8.20, roughly. Off. Here's the plum. Anyone get the Shaver? Ashley Shaver BMW. Gus, we have a winner. He's bounding down. Yeah, right, Gus. Yeah, right, Will Ferrell, right. Exactly. So Dave had it first. He's bounding down. And how does that turn out, right? Because you remember what the setup was, right? The setup was he was bringing in oh God, I can't think of his name. Is it Christopher? Chris? To be the batter, right? His like nemesis. This like designated hitter batter who's crazy, and he's gonna set up a big thing where he's gonna try and strike him out. And what does he do? First pitch, beans him right off the head, knocks him right out. Like, beautiful, perfect. Yeah, right. Knocked out his eyeball, right? Right. Ruined his career, right? Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, God. That was a great show. Well, it's any most of the Danny McBrides, pretty much all the Danny McBride, that was an HBO production, right? So if it was HBO, that's also, God, how many things now that he's been in? He's got at least one or two up there now. One with John Goodman. What do you think about the new Kramer Pacer Classic? Is it worth it? I do like the Kramer Pacers. I think they are good guitars and worth their asking price. What's your opinion on the new Ibanez 2024 line? I haven't looked into it. Ibanez, they have so many models. Right? That's one company that just... sometimes I just think, they just have so many models. It's like they should streamline a little bit. It used to be way more streamlined. But now they have a guitar at like every price point between, $149 and $10,000 in like $5 increments. I think that I like the Genesis. Those are actually, I think, a deal at $1,000 MIJ. But the colors turn a lot of people off. They came out with some of the not Prestige. I think they were premium. They had nice tops on them, but that's a friggin' mosquito. That's how friggin' warm it was today. Friggin' 60 degrees out. But the top got like cut off in the corner. They didn't wrap it over, which was annoying. Henning pointed that out. He's like, it's kind of weird, So, but I thought those looked really good. I thought the necks looked amazing. They had a big block inlays with, ebony fretboards. I thought the guitars themselves were pretty good. It did feel like they cut a little bit of a corner. Both literally and figuratively by not doing the corner wrap. It's like if the top is a veneer, you can't wrap the veneer down to the end? Apparently not. A PS777. Those are pricey. Pretty much anything Vi is pretty pricey. Minus 19 for you, huh? That's pretty cold. So we could talk about what happened this week. Just basically what this show has turned into, just me recounting my week. So the last I left you, we had snow on the way. It wasn't snowing by the time the show was even over, but about an hour after that, it was starting to snow. We had a good little snow. It really kind of snowed like wet and sloppy snow, like first, and then it sort of cooled off. No more snow for a little bit, And the temperature dropped a little bit, and now the snow came in, and it was sort of like, still kind of wet and heavy, but not like the slush that was before. This was much drier snow. And got another round of that. So we had, went out and shoveled a little bit. It wasn't too bad, to be honest with you. And then the next day, it sort of warmed up and melted a lot of the snow on the walkways and the streets and everything. But it was still locked up on the grass. And that was Sunday, and Monday was sort of a warm day. Now Tuesday comes, and it turns overcast, and they're like, it is going to rain tonight, like torrentially. Like this could be like 2 to 3 inches of rain. So I'm like, they're like even pockets of more, like depending on where this thing goes, because it's like really loaded up with moisture. So, and they're like, and then on top of that, you have, and they showed it in bands. They're like, in the dark purple, which is where I was, they're like, you have about 2 inches of rain locked up as snow. And when that melts with this warming thing, whatever we give you for a number tomorrow, you can just tack 2 inches on top of that, because there's at least 2 inches worth of water out there in this like belt, which I was in. And they're like, and if you're sort of closer to the coast, then it was too warm, right? You don't really have a lot of snow. And if you're farther inland, you just didn't get the snow, right? It was, you did, but it was lighter and fluffier. Kind of weird. So anyway, we were in the zone for the locked up water in the snow, along with the friggin' rain that was coming. So I said, you know what? I can't remember a time when it's really been, even with heavy rain, that my sump pump hasn't like worked with the new sump pump. It's, like I said, it's shorter, it's stronger, it's faster. It's got a much bigger out pipe, double the size from a 3/4 to a 1.5. So, it's been like, since I've done it, I haven't had flooding down here. So, I'm pretty optimistic, but just in case, I take everything up off the ground, because I don't want anything ruined, right? So I'm getting guitar cases off the floor, getting everything up, pulling everything that can remotely get wet and soaking wet and hard to dry out, getting it up off the floor, cardboard boxes, anything like that, getting only plastic on the floor. And I go around and I vacuum everything too, because the one thing I found out is that the debris will go down and clog the sump pump. So I really go around with the wet, dry vac, vac everything up, get it like really clean down here. I use my regular carpet vac for here, and and it, of course, there's a ton of cat hair. It'll get lifted right up and go in and clog the friggin' sump. So, I get it. I'm prepped. I'm like, I'm probably good. I'm watching like a Mystery Science Theater friggin' marathon. I'm like, I'm good. I'll be fine. I'll just wait till the worst goes through. And if the sump pump is, keeping up, I'll be fine. So it goes on. It's a little spotty for a while. And then, and I'm planning on staying up as long as it takes. So it really starts to kick in around 10 o'clock at night. And by like, like, I think it was around 2 in the morning, we had a bunch of green and dark green and some of the yellows, right? The darker the green, the heavier. The yellow's even much heavier, and red is like the heaviest of all. And this red band is like shooting towards us, but it's narrow, right? It's not. It's like a freaking thin band, but it is solid. It's blood red. And I'm like, here we go. So that comes through. Doesn't last long, but it is like a whiteout. I mean, you cannot even like. I'm looking at my cameras and you can't like even see anything. I'm like, oh, here we go. But it's over pretty quick. It might have lasted 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, and it was through, right? And so I'm like, okay, but behind it, it dragged a bunch of heavy rain, right? So it's all yellow, which is pretty heavy. Not as heavy as the red, but still pretty damn heavy. And this goes on for like a good hour, couple of hours. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm probably good. Let me go, and I'm checking it, and I'm looking around. I have a couple of spots I check for water, and I got no water coming in. And the sump pump now is going, right? And so I'm checking it, and then I said, you know what? Let me just wait. Just until this little last, because I'm watching it on the radar, let me just wait till this little rain cloud goes through, and then I'll go to bed. I'll be fine. And I go over and I check the sump pump, and it's pumping. It's going pretty quick. And I have a little blowhole next to it that I did years ago, because the water was coming, the static pressure was like making, fountains. And I said, I have to relieve the pressure right here, and I took my jackhammer and I put a hole right next to it, which goes directly into the sump pump, right, to remove the static pressure. And I look, and there's water there, which is like this much higher than the top of the friggin' sump pump. So the water is definitely above the sump. It's going in, but it can't get there and get pumped out fast enough. The sump pump is going, but the water can't get in there to get to it. And because that dude made like that stupid cistern style, I got to rip that out. That'll be the final, fix. And so I'm like, oh no. Like, this is, I know this. I've seen this story before. I know how this movie ends. It ends with me wet, dry vacuuming this rug that's soaking friggin' wet. So I said, let me give it a little bit, and I go over, I give it like 20 minutes, I go back over, I look, and now it's not sitting in there, it's trickling out. And after I had put the blowhole in there, when I went back after that big rainstorm was over, I went in there with the flat blade jackhammer and carved a trough to drop right in, so the water won't go anywhere but straight down into the sump pump. So I look, and it's trickling out and going down into the sump pump. I'm like, oh, here we go. Let me go back and watch another 30 minutes of this or whatever, 20 minutes. So I'm going back like every 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I go back, and now it is coming out. And it's coming up through the cracks next to it. And I'm like, here we go. Here we go. I go and check my other spot, and I see like puddles about this big. I go, here we go. And my pump, I stood there with my watch. My pump is going from cycle to cycle every 8 seconds. 8 seconds between pumps. Right? I mean, it is like, oh my God! And so I'm like, well, this is it. I can't go to bed. Let me go upstairs now. And the wind is kicking up, And at one point, the lights did flicker. So I already had a line running from the garage. I had already fired up the generator just in case we lost power earlier in the day to make sure it's going to start on like one friggin' pole, because it had already started a few hours earlier. Much easier to start. And I was like, here we go. Here we go again. And I just sat here staring at this rug. Just waiting to see as I have many times before, waiting to see the dark spot and the dark spot come out. And looking at the seam where the old furnace used to be, that's one of the key places where, right, because the concrete there has cracks in it, or key places where the water comes through first, right? These are the early warning signs. These are the canaries in the coal mine. This place over here, that place over in the corner, and the rug starting to get spots right around the center. And it never happened. I went back over, and I said, oh, I think it's going slower. Right? Because the rain has stopped, but it doesn't matter. It's slowed down. It's not quite stopped, but it's more like showers and not like heavy, heavy rain. And it seems to be slowing down. It's just a lag time. And I look the sun is starting to come up, and I look out in my backyard, and there's like a friggin' pond. The sump pump is just going nuts. And my extender is still on. Sometimes if it goes long enough, it slowly but surely works the extender off. And you need that extender on there to get it at least, 10, 12 feet away from the house. Or you're just cycling the water right back into your foundation again, right? You got to make it pretty far away. So the extender was on, everything was working. And I waited. I couldn't go to sleep. This is like 7 a.m. And I said, just wait it out. And by 8 a.m., it had stopped trickling out of the blowhole. And the cycle between sumps was 12 seconds, which is a 50% increase. Right? From 8 seconds to 12, that's a 50% increase. I know, I need this sump cam. I know. So I couldn't believe it. I was like, here we go, right? So I think my blowhole worked. And again, it's just that the sump pump I have is really good. It's fast, it's strong, it works, and it's shorter, so it does it very low. I think if it was my old sump, it would have absolutely flooded down in here. I think if that was so the next day we get the official tally, and the official tally for us was 3 inches, 3 inches of rain, plus the 2, that's 5 inches. That's a lot. That's pretty rare to get 5 inches in that short a period of time. And all the snow was gone, completely melted by the friggin' rain. And it punched up into the 50s, And then last night, it was all over again, except it was going to start later. It wasn't going to start at 10 p.m. and really peak overnight. It was going to start around 3 in the morning and peak around 7, 8 a.m. And that's what I did. I got up at 7 or 8 a.m. this morning. And the sump pump was going. But, it was 15, 20 seconds between sumps. It was nothing. So I just think that was a test, and it did pass the test, but just barely. That felt like if that had gone even just a little longer, it just would have been overwhelmed. It had already had enough static pressure. It was blowing out of the blowhole. So, and I mean coming out like a friggin' whitewater rapid, right? I mean, it's friggin' coming out and filling that friggin' sump pump so friggin' fast. So, yeah, it was only a test. Man, it was definitely, for a little bit there, I had just given in that I had lost. But it didn't. It never did. And I'm so friggin' happy it didn't, because the difference between it flooding down here and not flooding is massive. I have 2 rugs down here that would get soaking wet. I'd have to dry out and use it's just a friggin' nightmare. And today we hit almost 60 degrees, just about 60, 61 degrees. And in the sun, it was crazy. And now it's crashing hard out there. I know, wait till 6-inch rain. So I think if you got to remember this sump pump, if you could even call it this so-called sump pump, this purported sump pump, the sump itself is very shallow, because the guy who put it in built basically a brick cistern in there. And he only wanted to pump out water that once it came above right, he doesn't want to pump out water from under the ground. Only when it comes out from above the ground. And he never put any rugs down here or anything like that, like I have. I have a friggin' rug down here. So I think the way to do it is to finally get in there and just completely take a jackhammer and take all that out, put a real sump in there, which is a good 10 inches, maybe 12 inches deeper than what I have in there now. And it's just perforated all around with big giant holes to let the water in. And you basically, put a silt mesh and a bunch of gravel around it, and let it do its work, and the water pressure will force it in there. And especially if it's deep, that should be plenty to keep it from happening again, ever. But that would take a lot, because I'd have to take the jackhammer or a cut saw, cut out the concrete, pull that stupid cistern he has in there out, and then dig deep enough and large enough to get that thing. And it's I swear to God, it's like the size of a friggin' laundry basket, a good sized laundry basket. In fact, that's almost exactly what it's like a tall laundry basket. Maybe a little bit shorter than your tallest laundry basket, but not much. It's just about the same size. And again, much like a laundry basket, I'll just perforate it all the way around. So I know I got the Sump pump blues. Yeah, I don't think it's topsoil for me, Terry. The water comes straight up through the ground. I just have a very high water table here. The amount of water, it doesn't come in through the walls. It comes in through the floor straight up with crazy static pressure too. Yeah, it's a good, speak a milk crate, but it needs to be deeper. The Sump one I have is probably about 2 milk crates deep, and much wider at the top and smaller at the bottom, right? Cylindrical. I'm sure when it's done, you'll have less rain phobia. Oh, dude, the world I live in. There's a commercial that runs around here. They're going, "Do you cringe every time you hear heavy rain in the forecast?" I'm like, whoa, shut up. I do. I do cringe every time I hear heavy rain in the forecast. Yeah, 2 milk crates deep with crushed stone. You should be, right? And it doesn't sit on the bottom, right? You put a paver. You put a paver on the bottom. It sits on a paver stone, a paved stone, right? I don't think I could seal it with epoxy. When it was at its worst, when I had a real bad rainstorm, the spouts out of the floor were 6 inches tall. Out of the side of the chimney, they were rushing out like a geyser. I mean, you never saw anything like. I thought it was going to literally lift my friggin' chimney off the friggin' floor. The water was coming out so fucking hard. I was like, you can't even be serious right now. That one, my sump pump was on, and the water was over the first step, halfway up the second step. The steps are 7 inches tall. It was at least 9 to 10 inches of water. Ruined computers, did a whole bunch of damage. Yeah, that was with the sump pump on, running. Just couldn't keep up. The thing was practically underwater. That was a stick one, too. Now I have a submersible. Yeah, the hydrostatic pressure is insane. Exactly. Literally trying to float your house away. So that's why I think having a deeper sump pump and just getting ahead of it would make a big difference, right? Because even though it'll come rushing in and the pump will really almost be working nonstop, it'll never be able to get up to the floor height and get that static pressure, right? You're always just a little bit ahead of it. Well, meow, 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 meow. Do-do-do-do. So an old picture of Van Halen from '73. One of the first pictures with Dave. And Eddie's playing a Les Paul. And it's from a backyard, it's from like a backyard jam party. What's better, one sump, 3 or 4? You know what? I thought about that, Calvin. And if a friend of mine suggested, he goes, you know, sometimes just adding a second sump pump is all it takes to just get way ahead of it. And then if one burns out or breaks, you always have that second one going. You know, while you work on the first one, like you're not, you know, you have redundancy. And I was like, you know, you're making a lot of sense right now. The level-headed friend I never had. Yeah, I thought about it, but we get a placement. Where's it going to eject? I think it was going to be over in this corner, be far enough away from everything, and sort of eject down towards the back, along the fence. Right, you could eject down and run a pipe down along the fence. So I have thought about it, but again, you're still you know, jackhammering and you know, digging out a lot of friggin' dirt. The trailer had so much rain, the 3 sides that were it was like a swimming pool. The 3 sides that had a tarp on it that have steel, and the plywood sheets were fine. They didn't budge. But my back gate, my homemade back gate, got like torn forward under the weight. Sort of ripped apart a little bit. I'm gonna have to like get some screws and screw it back and tighten it back all together again. There are a few nails in it. And I had to set up a siphon. And with a siphon, and if you've ever seen a siphon go, it's pretty fast. It took like almost 20 minutes to drain it with the friggin' siphon. And then I had to do it again today. I was out there today draining it. Not nearly as much this time as there was last time. That last one was friggin' insane. Have a good one, Justin. So the last time I checked, the Texans were winning pretty hard. They had up 45-14. You gonna watch Miami on the clock? I don't have the Peacock service, so that's the one service I don't friggin' have. What about some holes outside of the house but close to the house? Yeah, possibly. I see what you're saying. Right. Now, I still think you got to get under the foundation. It's hard to do outside the house. That's pretty deep. What's the story behind this guitar? It was born to a small Belgian couple in the mid-30s. You heard Gibson is up for sale again, really? I have not heard that. Exactly. It's the rare 30s. It's the rare 30s Les Paul. Exactly. A lot of people don't know about that one. And here's the twist. Here's my M. Night Shyamalan. It's from 2030. It's from the future. Those are just some of the riffs they'll be playing in 2030. Oh my God, that's like wicked good. Well, I think Peacock at the very least should offer like a 30-day trial, starting at, I don't know, the start of the playoff season and ending with the end of the NFL playoffs. If you're going to be hosting some of the friggin' playoff games, why don't you give millions of people an opportunity to subscribe and then cancel without paying a dime? How about that? Cash me outside. How about that? Hello, Italy. I don't think they do speaker. I took a look to see, and there was no free trial right now. Maybe a discount code, but you're still paying. Yeah, well, that's the hope, Michael, is that millions will subscribe and then forget to cancel. Unlike me, I have a reminder in my phone that rings several days in advance. You go, bro, you're canceling today, so that there's zero, interpretation about whether or not I canceled in time. Exactly. exactly, bro. Cancel me, bro. Guitar does sound good. Do 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 do. Oh yeah, you had a friend. One of your kids' friends got you logged in. They've been cracking down on that. Sometimes you get a message saying like too many streams right now, and you see that someone else is logged in. You're like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, I think the Gibson sounded good too. Yeah, check me tuning. Oh yeah. A little flat, a little bit. Oh no, a little bit. There you go. Well, maybe a touch, maybe just a touch. A touch too much. I feel like a touch. A touch too much. Thoughts on newer Gibsons? You know, I haven't bought one. The last time I bought one was 2010. So it's been a bit. In fact, I bought mine from Trade Tang, and they went under in, I think, 2014. So it's been a bit. You know, I think it is 10s on this. I feel like it is 10s on this. That's one thing you got to practice. Trills. Oh, they go slow. Just wanna feel sorry for you. I'm gonna believe that's true. And they can rock me. Great tune. So let's talk about my goddamn computer from hell. Don't make me come over there. So the last we left, I was trying to build a PC. And like I mentioned last week, it's a cursed build. All right? It happens once in a while. You get a cursed build. It just happens. And it's a fire hose, a perfect storm of problems. Murphy's Law, the whole, just check all the boxes. Everything that could go wrong does go wrong. It's just it happens. I've had a good luck. And you know how that is. You put everything together and you press the on button and you press the power button and nothing happens. And you're like, oh, for Christ's sakes. Really? Are we really going to do this? So I had been lucky. Usually when I press the power button, it starts up and everything works fine. Never had a problem. One time, a long time ago, and it was a bad motherboard. So, like I told you last week, the HDMI header on the MSI motherboard did not work. I found out later when I had the DisplayPort going that Windows saw it. Saw it was attached to the Hisense, my TV. Had it set to the correct everything, but it wasn't sending a signal. It was dead, right? It was kind of a weird thing where it says it's working, but it isn't really working. So, nothing. So, and that had happened on the other, my 1080p monitor, which is a ViewSonic, and the reason why I use it for my bench is because it seems to work with every friggin' PC, right? It's a very flexible monitor in terms of old VGA and DV and, HDMI. One thing it doesn't have is DisplayPort, right? It's a little older. So I knew that the motherboard was dead, and like I said, the Intel Arc A750, which was a wonderful card. It was only $179. I still sent it back because the HDMI could not keep a signal. It kept dropping a signal, and this was a known issue. So it worked fine on a 1080p monitor, but when I connected it to a 4K TV, it was like losing its shit. And I have had it connected to a 4K TV with my GTX 960, and it works fine. No problems at all. So, in 4K, right? It looks, it's perfect, it's fine. It'll even do HDR. On the GTX 960, right? I mean, seriously, it's like, that's very old tech. So, the Arc A750, I had high hopes. And it just could not keep. You do a search for that, and you find 1,000 people that have the identical problem. And you go, well, it's not me now, is it? Yeah, I thought the last firmware was going to fix it. It wasn't going to fix it. So sent that back. Regrettably sent the case back. Regrettably sent back the RAM. I should have just kept all that. So I had an old case. I pulled it out from the back. I had two cases back there. One that was sort of old. Kind of dated looking, but never opened. Still wrapped up. So, that one, I thought about it, but it just looked so old and dated. And it had terrible I/O on the front, like a couple of USB 2.0s, like nothing 3.0 or 3.2 on the front. So I'm like, this thing is too old. So I had another one that I had pulled out of service, and the reason I pulled it out of service because it sounded like a friggin' jet engine. So I said, you know what? You have those new fans. They're PWM fans, right? Pulse width modulated. So they get a signal. They get a sine wave signal from the motherboard that speeds them up and slows them down, and they tend to run pretty slow. You barely hear them, but when you start chugging and you start building heat up, if there's a problem, it raises them up until they can cool them back down again. It works works as it should, right? It's dynamic cooling. And I went to go put the fans in, and I realized the whole front is sealed except for a small grill at the top and a small grill at the bottom. And inside both of those grills is a screen. And I go, oh my God, this has no airflow. No wonder it made all that noise. You're trying to pull 3 fans worth of material through the face of this thing, and it's got nothing, right? It's not open at all. It's barely open. So I'm like, that's why it sounded so loud, even putting these in. So I went on, I looked around, and I found another Corsair case used, because the new case, if I want to buy another new one, it would have cost me like $35 more. To even get one around the price of what I paid before, because I got it on like Black Friday. I bought a used one, which came through fine. It had a damaged box, but the case itself was fine. The damage was really only on the box. And then, I got a cooling system, and I the RAM, and I got everything, and I wind up getting like an MSI motherboard, the one up from what I had. And I get it all together. It's a big pain in the ass. It was supposed to show up, but then the storm comes through. So it's like delayed a day because of the friggin' storm. And I finally get it. I finally get it installed. I plug everything together, and I press the power button, and nothing. And you know what you do in that situation? Press the reset button, because it's very easy to get those two, right? And reset buttons and power buttons are the same friggin' button. They're just different sizes. They do the same thing. It's a momentary click switch, right, that joins two jumpers, right, for a split second. So sometimes when you press the power button and nothing happens, just press the reset button and make sure you didn't wire the header wrong, right? Common problem. So I'm like, oh my God. Of course, it was a brand of liquid cooler. I think I have a Thermaltake cooler. So but somebody owns it. There's one company that owns the whole AIO, and they license it to everybody else. I forget who it is. Cooler Master? Might be Cooler Master. Somebody owns it. Somebody owns the concept, the patents. They license it to everybody. Yeah, Thermaltake's a pretty good brand. Should be fine. So I'm just like, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. So I go online, and I process a return for it, and I get an Asus, which, I usually get MSI. I kind of like MSI. I've had good luck with MSI, except recently. Recently, I've had terrible luck with MSI. But before that, it's been great, and sometimes I'll use Gigabyte. MSI and Gigabyte are really the two brands. I almost bought an AS Rock, but it only had, in fact, I bought it, and I wound up canceling it when I realized it only had 3 M.2 headers and not 4. I need 4 M.2s, not 3. So I wound up going with Asus, and, I'll say one thing. It's got a ridiculously complicated BIOS, but one thing that it does have is a Intel Arc compatibility mode, where you press this like one button and it sets all the parameters for best compatibility with the Arc, the Intel Arc. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe in the future, if it comes back down to 179, I'll give it another try and see if I can get the HDMI port to sync, running it in Arc mode. Right? See if it'll work. But for now, I'm just using the header that's on it, and I can confirm the HDMI header does work on the Asus. What it did cost me was a Windows Pro license. Now, luckily, I don't buy the retail license. Luckily and unluckily. if I bought the retail license, it would have cost me $200, but I actually could have switched it to the new machine, right? Because it's retail. You can decommission and move it. But I had the OEM builder version, which is $50, right? But you get one hardware install. That's it. And you can basically change all the hardware except for the motherboard. That's the one piece of hardware you can't friggin' change because it pulls the unique identifier by doing some stupid hash string with the MAC address, which is unique, right? As you know, MAC addresses are unique on NICs. So they get a unique string, then they can make a unique identifier, and they go, that's the identifier for this serial number. And so, yeah, didn't work. Yeah, OEM, you can't move. I know. It's over. It's over, Johnny. It's over. I like AS Rock. I just retired an AS Rock system from 2013, all right? I went 10 years without a hiccup. So I like AS Rock. I have no problem with AS Rock. It just didn't have enough headers. I needed 4. 4? The answer is 4? There are 4 lights. Was it $4? I think it's $2. Where's my $2? True, it is no mini LP. Yeah, it's $2. So I did finally get it going. Then I had some weird stuff happening where it somehow got my UFI, one of my UFI drives registered, which you can delete with disk part. But if you don't make there's one little registry entry you've got to delete as well, and if you don't do it, it'll reconnect again. So I finally got rid of that, making me mental. This is with the new system. I had one piece of hardware I couldn't find until I found out that ASUS, you have to like expand some of their things to say, oh, here's the rest of the drivers. So I had to just get a serial I/O driver, which is weird. It's it's like some sort of serial, it's like some sort of USB header, universal serial bus header for RGB. I'm like, well, how the hell does that work? A USB RGB? That sounds weird, you know? And then the other one was a GNA driver, which is the neural processor, right? So you can use it to, the only thing I heard that it processes right now in there, because it's all AI. It's all friggin' AI. Everyone's coming out with, they're going to have a CPU, a GPU, and now an NPU, right? A neural processing unit. Right now, it's only dedicated to dictation, right? Turning words. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? And turn it into words on the screen. Happy New Year, Al John. That's actually for next year. Too soon? Bees 1, St. Louis 2. I don't like the look of that score. Oh yeah, write a PowerShell script? Careful. A couple of lines of bad code and it became self-aware. Exactly. The MPU is to take your voice, turn it into words, and then send it directly to marketing. Yeah, AI, write me a script. Okay, it's called Space Wars. You know, a long time, very far into the future, relatively close. In a galaxy, kind of close. We meet Duke, our hero. Exactly, Spaceballs. You gotta remember, it's trained on what's already out there. So, you know, that's why they're all pissed, because you're like, you're just stealing our content. You know? I mean, who else but a human could write Howard the Duck? I did not hear it. Was it and George Carlin? Was it new material synthesized from George Carlin? Towards the end, he got pretty bleak. I saw George Carlin at the Boston Symphony Hall in 1984, 1985. I feel like I'm still out a little bit. You could have seen him a month before he died. Yeah. Yeah. Is that a real Paul? What do you think? What do you say? Look close. Give it a good look. What do you think? Yay and nay? Real deal? Or not. Exactly, it's AI. God. You're officially on the writing team. No, it ain't. It's not real. And what makes you say that? Again, look closely. Are the screws off? We watched the unboxing during COVID, if I recall correctly. You see, some people were paying attention. Does it have fret nibs? Of course it does. It's a standard. Because I like cheap? Well, just because I like cheap doesn't mean I don't spend money when I got to spend money. If you have to. But this wasn't a lot of money. This was $15.19, which, for a classic at the time was even then on the low side. But now that's really low for a classic. Exactly, the guitar is real, but I am AI. Next thing you're going to say is the stack of Marshalls you're hearing right now isn't real. Come on! Wow, wow. It has the correct bridge for the phone. Plus, I have a photograph of it on the bench at Gibson. They give you the birth photo now. Yeah, cat scratch tree. Exactly, just add another stack on the pile, exactly. Wah, wah. Exactly, only for a nominal fee. Exactly, if I was Gene Simmons, I'd run an ad right now. Exactly, I'm in front of a green screen. I got the AI cats. Where is that? Right there. Look at that cat. How much that cost me a minute? Puts a terrible strain on the animator's wrist. Yeah, of the Gibsons, I only have the red one left. All the other ones are gone. I gave the Supreme to my brother-in-law. Bobby's got the amber one. My other friend that Speaker knows, he was there, got that sort of like off-white custom with the blackouts in it. I think that's it. You think it's worth it to take private lessons? If it's convenient. The thing about the lessons is that it just keeps you like focused because you pay for it and you show up and you go there and it makes you focus for a little bit, once a week. But to be honest, a lot of the content you can get from any local teacher you could get on YouTube now. It's something we didn't have when I was younger. You had to go to a teacher or buy a book. Some of the magazines, would have lessons. But now there's just so much on YouTube. The hard part is getting motivated, right? That's where the lessons come in. I still have my Ibanez LP copy? I do. You should see my Ibanez. You think this is an expensive guitar? That Ibanez goes for a lot more. And yet, I think I paid $20 less for it, right? Because this was $15.19. And that Ibby, I paid $14.99. I stole that friggin' Ibby. With a 4666, like $4,666.67 MSRP. But they never sold for that. But they priced them high. I think they sold around $3,000. Yeah, I know. The J Custom is beautiful. I love that guitar. Trying to sell some guitars, it's a saturated market. It's tough. It's real tough. If you want to sell a guitar quickly, my strategy tends to be go on there, look for the guitar I'm trying to sell. Like say it's like a 19, I think I sold a 2010 Fender Mexican, made in Mexico, 70s classic. Right, so it's got the maple neck and the big headstock and the, I think they were available in a couple of colors. I had the white, right, the Olympic white, so it's a little off-white. And it was mostly clean, but it did have a couple of dings. You put all that, but I would go on there and I would look it up and find out, like, what the cheapest one was. And see if there's a lot of times when you see one, you're like, well, that one's pretty reasonable. And you look at it and it is like massively damaged. And you're like, you're dreaming. You have a guitar worth $50. I'd part it out, bro. This thing is like severely damaged. Barring those, I tend to go and see like what they run at. And I price it a little bit less if I can, if it's out there. And then they sell pretty quickly because somebody looking for that guitar a lot of times will sort by price. And, the guitar is a commodity. They're just like, well, I'm looking for a 70s Strat in Olympic white. Here is one. And of all the 70s Strats in Olympic white, it's the cheapest one listed. I'll go with that one. Price sells. The problem with that is right, when there's the market is saturated like it is, it's the race to the bottom is a steep one. Then you really have to worry. You think about, do you want to sell a guitar at a price that you yourself would say to yourself, I'd be crazy not to buy it at this price, right? Right, you sell it at a price that you could only dream about getting. That always feels bad. Yeah, these are Grovers on this one. Yeah, Grovers. Not the, really, not the... My friggin' stamps are fading hard, though. It's so friggin' moist. Yeah, Cluson. That's the other one I was thinking. It's heavy. What do you think is moving better, the cheap or the expensive stuff? The cheap stuff always moves better. You have more people that have a budget that will fall into. The higher price stuff is always a little bit tougher to sell unless it's really rare. Like you have some like Charvel that they made 100 models and you happen to have like the rare, color or some rare limited run. Those will do a little bit better on the higher market. But, a guitar that's just an expensive guitar always is a harder sell. It's just fewer people are willing to put out that kind of money on a guitar. Does it have a maple top? Well, that is the standard construction, right? I'd say for the specs, go to Gibson.com, but I believe it's a mahogany body with a maple top, right? That is the construction. And of course, it has the push pulls. Here's the blower switch. Yeah, out of phase. Do. You got Charvel Pro Mod H.A. San Dimas. There you go. Joey D. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Sig model. Got a deal on it really at $6.99. Got a door for $4.50. That's great. That's a nice discount. Can't go wrong with that. Terry, I managed to trade a Harley Benton GT450 P90. There you go. I had one of those. I gave mine away. And a Harley Benton PJ bass for a violet metallic Ibanez 350D XZ. Nice. Ever try the Floyd Rose floating trims you can install on a Gibson LP? No. Gibsons are a stop tail piece. I'm not crazy. It's too much of a mashup. I'm not big on the tremolo on it. That Access was a pretty good one that has a weird heel and like there's a whole bunch of appointments to that. But for the most part, a Floyd Rose on a Les Paul just feels so wrong. They're going to show the score. Can they show the score of the friggin' Chiefs game? Yeah, Chiefs are up 7-0. Yeah, your hope is that their numbers are really bad. And the NFL says, you know what, maybe we're not ready for streaming only. Although they've been doing the Prime Video streaming only this whole season. Looks like Boston is beating the Houston Rockets. So it looks like, who's that? That's Ime, right? Ime Udoka back in town? Isn't he with the Rockets now? Wah, 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 wah. That's my, Oh, Boston. So did they take a goal away? Oh, do I have to refresh? I might have to refresh. Did they take a goal away? Because it's 1-1 according to ESPN. The Boston-St. Louis game. The worst about Prime is that the audio and the video are never synced. When I use the app on my TV, the audio and the video, when I watch it in my browser, it's always synced. But when I watch it on the Prime Video app that's built into Google TV, it's always way off. It's always way out of sync. It's like that seems like a very basic audio-video transmission requirement to make sure that the video and the audio are synced up with each other. But damn, is it not. It is way off. So Roku is okay. Yeah, it could just be the platform, right? So the Google one doesn't work great. The Netflix probably works fine. I mean, you know, the Roku, I mean, and then Apple TV, right? You have to see. I'll bet theirs works fine too, but the Google TV one, it's always a lag. They don't give them the Thanksgiving games. Remember, they wanted to do a Black Friday game, so they would have a game that week. And I think the NFL shut it down, right? Roku's never had issues, but your Samsung TV can lag on the app. I've never had a problem with the web. Like, as long as I watch it in Chrome, it seems to be perfect. But when I watch it on the Prime, I think maybe once or twice, it was fine. And you don't, to be honest, you don't even really notice it because it's not far enough off that the plays are that far off. So, you notice it on the commercials because the dialogue is way off. What's my wedding band made out of? Gold. the second one too. I lost my first one, and I'm pretty sure it came off my hand when I was putting something in the trash. So I had to go buy a second one. Do. Sort of like the old martial arts movies where the dubbed English is out of sync, right? What's amazing is some of the horrible, a lot of the Godzilla movies are like that. You know, they just, the character actors trying to do the voices, they're just so ridiculously over the top. I don't think City's on Flame. I don't know, I can't think of it off the top of my head. You know, sometimes when I played the songs, I had just been fooling around with it that week, and so it's on the top of mind, but then it's not. Do right? It's an F sharp, right? That's it. Something like that, right? No, that doesn't sound right. But la doing it raga. They never do it raga. Something like that. Do you ever use any drum software? Easy Drum. I use Easy Drummer. I use Easy Drummer. You know why? Because it's easy. I think our TV does post-processing on the audio coming in. Yeah. I'm sure it does. In fact, I used to have it more on my regular television, you know, just going through the cable until I did you do audio pass-through. And just, it's like too many decoders in the stream. So it was much easier just to say, don't decode it at the box. Send it through to the TV. And then I have the TV send it through to the soundbar. And the soundbar decodes it. Through Toslink, right? You said your first spray paint job on a 62 NAMM Strat. Looks great. Yeah, what color did you go with? Seafoam green, very nice. Do. Exactly, that tune was required learning back in the 70s. You couldn't get into Berkeley unless you could play it. Yeah, Steve Howe, yeah. Have I played the $3,000 Greenie? I have not. And I don't think Gibson has a booth at NAMM. So I won't be playing it there. But my wife wants to go to Nashville. Because I keep telling her that Nashville's pretty awesome. We should just go down there. So maybe I'll check one out at the Gibson Garage. Because, it's one place to visit while you're in town. Wow, 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 wow. Have a good one, speaker. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, thank you, sassy cat. It's freaking cold. Go get yourself a coffee. I will, actually. Watching football with my family. I'll catch you at the replay later. Thank you so much. I will. Do I purchase from time to time from AliExpress? Only retro handhelds. Last time I bought a guitar from China was in 2011. And that was the last one was the EVH, the Wolfgang one. Won't regale you with the Broken Leg saga again? Does that saga ever truly go away? No. Every June. I was talking about the handhelds. The only thing I got from them, I bought the Retroid Pocket Plus. I bought that directly from Retroid. They just came out with the Retroid with the Pocket Plus, with the, what is it, the 4, right? The 4 Pro. You want to get the Pro one. It's like good enough to run, Wii games and Switch games, even like some of the higher PS2s and stuff like that. It's a much, much stronger processor. I have heard it's a little loud because it needs a little fan in there to cool the friggin' thing down. But I got that one directly from Retroid. I got the R36S, which is, I think, Amberneck. That has the Arc OS on it. I got that from AliExpress. And the other stuff I got from Amazon. Yeah, the Broken Leg saga must be regaled annually for the noobs, exactly. It's, oh yeah, it's quite the story. All right, dudes, well, it's 9 o'clock. We're going to call it a night. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Super extra special thanks to anyone who contributed. I can see Sassy Cat up there right now. Thank you. And, of course, Brofist to my mod squad. Hashtag Brofist, hashtag mod squad. And we'll do it all again in a week. Maybe I'll get a video out this week, actually, because I have a little bit of downtime. And I did finally get that computer going, so that friggin' saga is over. And the next precipitation should be in a frozen form. So that's not as troublesome as rain. So, there you go. No, you rock. All right, dudes. Have a wonderful week. We'll do it all again next week. What should I play next week? The Ibanez, the Fender Select, the Vola USA Custom Shop, any one of those. We'll see. We'll figure it out. The J Custom. J Custom is a nice guitar. I almost played the J Custom tonight, but I haven't played this one in so long. I said, you know what? I'm going to break this one out. But it's going back up on the shelf right now. Yeah, that Ibanez is a nice one. The Ertz. That's a nice one. It's a bargain too. Relative bargain. All right, no, you rock. Have a wonderful week. We'll do it all again next week. And until then, have a wonderful week. And I'll see you there then. And later.